History remembers the grand empires of Rome, Persia, and China, but how often do we ask, what of Africa? What of its kings and scholars, its visionaries and warriors? In the heart of West Africa, an empire emerged, one so powerful that its wealth altered economies thousands of miles away. A civilization where knowledge was more valuable than gold, where cities stood as beacons of art, faith, and intellect. Yet, how does such a civilization rise, and more importantly, how does it fall? Are the echoes of its glory lost to time, or do they still shape the world today? This is the untold story of the Mali Empire, a land of prosperity, wisdom, and ambition. Let us journey through its golden age, not just as spectators of the past, but as seekers of the lessons it still holds. To understand the Mali Empire, we must step back in time, to an era where West Africa was a land of mighty kingdoms, fierce warriors, and thriving trade routes. The once great Ghana Empire, which had controlled the gold and salt trade for centuries, had crumbled, leaving behind a vacuum of power. From its ashes, a new force began to rise. The Soso Kingdom, led by the feared Sumaro Kunte, cast a long shadow over the region, dominating trade routes and oppressing weaker states. But history does not belong to those who simply seize power, it belongs to those who can unite people under a shared vision. And that is where our story truly begins. In the small Mandinka kingdom of Kangabar, a boy was born in 1217. His name was Sundiata Keita. But unlike most great leaders of history, Sundiata's story did not begin with strength. It began with struggle. As a child, he was frail and unable to walk. To his people, he was an outcast, a cursed prince unworthy of the throne. His father, the king, had many wives, and when he died, his kingdom fell under the control of a cruel ruler who exiled Sundiata and his mother. But destiny does not care for beginnings, it only cares for those who refuse to be defeated. In exile, Sundiata trained. He watched, he learned. He understood what made kingdoms rise and fall. And then, the moment of fate arrived. Sumaro Kunte, the warlord of Soso, had become too powerful. He crushed those who resisted him, instilling fear across the lands. The people needed a savior. And Sundiata was ready. The decisive moment came in 1235 at the Battle of Karina. Sundiata, now a seasoned warrior, led an army of rebels against Sumaro Kunte. But this was no ordinary battle, it was a clash of destiny. Using superior strategy, alliances, and a deep understanding of the terrain, Sundiata's forces overwhelmed the Soso army. The feared warlord, Sumaro, was defeated, vanishing into the mountains, never to be seen again. Sundiata had done what many thought impossible, he had united the Mandinka people under one rule. But victory in battle is only the first step in building an empire. As he was crowned the first Mansa of Mali, he faced a new challenge, turning a land of scattered kingdoms into a single, powerful nation. He established a government rooted in law and tradition, creating a council of advisors to ensure stability. Unlike previous rulers who ruled through fear, Sundiata ruled through loyalty. He understood the importance of strong alliances and made sure that leaders from different ethnic groups felt included in the empire's rise. With stability came prosperity. Trade flourished under his reign, and Mali's influence stretched far beyond its borders. Gold, salt, ivory, and textiles flowed through the empire, connecting it to North Africa, the Middle East, and even Europe. But Sundiata's true genius was in his ability to build, not just cities, but a vision of unity and strength. He built a military that could defend and expand the empire, secured Mali's wealth by controlling trade routes, and ensured that his people thrived under fair governance. By the time of his passing in the late 1250s, Sundiata had turned Mali into the most powerful empire in West Africa. But this was just the beginning. The foundations had been laid, but Mali's greatest era, the era of unimaginable wealth, legendary rulers, and golden cities, was yet to come. Empires rise and fall, but only a few enter the pages of legend. The Mali Empire had already begun its ascent under Sundiata Keita, but it would reach unparalleled heights under one man, a ruler so wealthy, so powerful, that his very name became synonymous with grandeur. This man was Mansa Musa. Born in 1280, Musa ascended the throne in 1312. Unlike many rulers, his wealth did not come from plundering or war, it came from something far more powerful: trade. Mali sat on the world's richest deposits of gold, and Mansa Musa understood its value like no other. But Mali's wealth was not just measured in gold. It was measured in influence. Musa controlled the trade of salt, an equally valuable resource, ensuring Mali's dominance over regional and trans-Saharan commerce. Traders, scholars, and diplomats from the Middle East, North Africa, and even Europe flocked to Mali's cities, eager to do business with the richest empire in the world. But Mansa Musa was not content with wealth alone, he wanted the world to recognize Mali's greatness. And so, in 1324, he embarked on one of the most famous journeys in human history, his pilgrimage to Mecca. Imagine a caravan stretching as far as the eye can see, 60,000 men, including soldiers, scholars, traders, and servants, accompanied by 12,000 slaves, each carrying a staff of gold. Hundreds of camels, each carrying hundreds of pounds of gold dust. The wealth of an empire, moving as one. When he arrived in Cairo, the Egyptian sultan could hardly believe what he was seeing. Mansa Musa, in his flowing robes of gold-threaded fabric, distributed wealth so generously that he caused inflation. Gold became so abundant in Egypt that its value dropped drastically, taking years to recover. But his journey was more than a display of wealth, it was a political statement. The world now knew of Mali's power. European and Middle Eastern maps, which had previously ignored Africa, now marked the Mali Empire, often depicting Mansa Musa holding a massive gold nugget. Returning from his pilgrimage, Mansa Musa had a new mission: to turn Mali into an intellectual and cultural powerhouse. He brought back scholars, architects, and artisans from Egypt and the Middle East, setting the stage for a golden age of learning and architecture. Timbuktu, once just a small trading post, became the center of knowledge in Africa. Mansa Musa established the Sankore University, a beacon of scholarship that housed thousands of manuscripts on science, mathematics, astronomy, and philosophy. The greatest minds of Africa, the Middle East, and even parts of Europe came to study in Mali. At its height, Sankore University had over 25,000 students, rivaling the great institutions of Europe and the Islamic world. Knowledge was as valuable as gold in Mali, and Mansa Musa ensured that his empire would be remembered not just for its riches, but for its wisdom. But even as Mali flourished, Mansa Musa knew that an empire could not survive on wealth alone. He strengthened trade partnerships with the Berbers, the Moors, and the Middle Eastern merchants. He maintained diplomatic ties with Egypt, Morocco, and even Christian kingdoms in Europe. Under his reign, Mali became not just an economic superpower, but a political force that commanded respect across continents. He established a system of governance that ensured peace, stability, and continued prosperity. But even golden ages must come to an end. Mansa Musa passed away in 1337, leaving behind a legacy that few rulers in history have matched. Under his successors, Mali continued to thrive, but internal conflicts and external pressures would eventually take their toll. Mali was more than just an empire of wealth, it was an empire of culture. Trade connected it to the world, bringing not just goods, but ideas. The griots, the empire's storytellers, were the living libraries of Mali. Through music and poetry, they preserved history, ensuring that the legacy of kings and warriors lived on. Diversity flourished. The empire was home to Mandinka, Fulani, Tuareg, and many other groups, each contributing to Mali's rich tapestry of traditions. The capital, Niamey, and cities like Gao and Djen were vibrant cultural hubs. But no empire stands forever. After Mansa Musa's death, his successors struggled to maintain control. Internal power struggles weakened Mali, and external threats loomed. By the 15th century, the Songhai Empire rose to prominence, taking control of Mali's key trade centers. With the rise of European maritime trade, the importance of trans-Saharan routes declined. By the 16th century, Mali had lost its former glory. Yet, the Mali Empire's legacy is far from forgotten. Its influence shaped African governance, trade, and education for centuries. The Mali Empire teaches us the power of resilience, leadership, and vision. From Sundiata's rise to Mansa Musa's golden reign, it remains a testament to Africa's rich history. So the next time you hear about medieval empires, remember, Africa had its own golden age, one that dazzled the world. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like, subscribe NaijaTrends TV, and hit the bell icon for more epic tales from the past. Drop a comment, what aspect of the Mali Empire fascinates you the most? Until next time, keep exploring.